Hello, everyone. Welcome. Lovely to see you all, those of you who are joining on the Zoom, and welcome also to those joining on the YouTube live stream or watching the recording. It's wonderful to be doing one of these open meetings again. I haven't done one for a few weeks now because we did the 6-week journey about grief, which took place at the same time as this. So we took a break. So yeah, here we are again, and I'll go on doing these a couple of times a month on different themes. So yeah, you're welcome to join me. And of course, also before we get going, if there is ever a theme that you would like me to speak more about or to hold one of these open meetings on, please just email us, and yeah, you're welcome to suggest a theme. So today's theme is, can you be okay with not being okay? So before we get into the actual theme, I'd like to just start by taking a few moments just to tune in with how we're feeling right now, which is always a good place to start, so that we include the whole body, mind, energy, everything that's happening right now. So we just settle for a moment and close our eyes if that feels good for you. Take a few deep breaths into the belly. Letting go of everything else that was happening in your life before the start of this meeting. And then we can just feel into whatever is here right now for you in your direct experience, whatever it is. It's all welcome to be here just the way it is. So whether you are feeling happy or sad or anything in between, whether the body is feeling comfortable or uncomfortable, or just kind of okay, or perhaps not much feeling at all. Just meeting it just the way it is right now, knowing that it's bound to change in the next moment. But right now, this is what's here. Noticing if there are any thoughts that have any commentary, anything to say about the present experience, whatever it is. And we just notice those thoughts as well. They're also absolutely welcome to be here. They just don't have any more significance or importance or meaning than any other physical sensation or sound or feeling. They're just of equal value, just like everything else. We just notice it all. And in this moment, as we're meeting whatever is here, sitting on this seat, with this particular experience, just the way it is, perhaps we can just ask ourselves right now, is this experience as it is it enough? Just as it is? And if there are thoughts that say, well, actually, I'd like a bit more of this, or I wish that that wasn't here, we'll just acknowledge those thoughts and see them just like any other part of the experience, like another physical sensation. We don't give them more importance or meaning. So the fact that those thoughts may say that this isn't enough, it doesn't actually mean that this isn't enough. Just because the thoughts say so doesn't mean that that's the truth. So then again, we can just feel into the sensations right now, the experience right now, checking whether this right now is enough without referring or believing in the thoughts, just meeting this present experience, knowing that it couldn't be any other way. And then when you're ready, we can slowly come back to the screen and to our theme. First of all, I wanted to wish you all a happy holiday season. I don't know if you celebrate that, but it's always fun to have some excuse for a celebration. So, our theme today is, can you be okay with not being okay? So, what is okay, actually? What does it mean to be okay? Perhaps we've picked up various spiritual ideas with the belief that I should be okay with everything that's here, with my experience all the time. And I should always feel even more than just okay. I should feel in bliss, or at least happy all the time. And if I'm not feeling in bliss or happy all the time, then that must mean something about me and my experience. That must mean that there's something wrong, something missing. It must mean that there's a problem that I need to fix. That it must mean that I'm not okay. And feeling okay is perhaps what we might consider positive feelings and comfortable feelings, and anything that we have decided previously fit into this box of this is acceptable. And we dismiss all those other feelings and experiences that are unacceptable, not okay. And if I'm not okay, then this is a problem. But what if being, feeling, experiencing the whole range of the human experience is normal as a human, right? We're all humans, right? And in our human experience, you may have noticed that we often feel uncomfortable in the body. The body has all kinds of uncomfortable feelings, aches and pains and tensions and all kinds of stuff, no matter what we try to do for this body. And of course, we do our best to take care of this body. And I would encourage you to listen to the body and do whatever you need to do to provide this body with whatever it needs. To listen to the health benefits for this body, and soothe this body as much as we can when it's feeling uncomfortable. But there's always going to be a limit to that. There's always going to be a point where we've done all we can to soothe and to help this body, but still there's discomfort. And this discomfort is a part of being human. And no doubt, as we get older and we go through all kinds of challenges on the physical level, we will feel more discomfort physically. And this might be considered by the mind to be not ideal or not okay, but it is still what it is. And then emotionally, there are times when things happen in our lives which make us feel emotionally not okay, whether it's loss or big changes, disappointments, feeling rejected, abandoned, disconnection from nature. There's so many reasons why there might be a trigger that would trigger an emotional response here in our human experience. And it might feel uncomfortable and a kind of not okayness, but it is also part of the human experience and very natural and very normal. And then there are thoughts that perhaps build up a storyline of me and my problems and the reasons why I'm not okay or not good enough. Well, this also is relatively normal for our human experience, because this is what we have learnt. This is how we have learnt to deal with the challenging times in our experience. Of course, we can see that the me that these thoughts are referring to doesn't actually exist. When we examine it for ourselves, we can see that actually this me is just another thought. And so these thought stories that refer to me and my problems, my life that is not okay, actually is just a thought story that's spinning by itself, not actually referring to anybody. So when we see that, it can automatically provide some relief, or maybe not so much automatically with all these stories, but there can be more and more of a lightness around these thought stories. But still, sometimes we are triggered, sometimes with an emotional trigger. There might also be a thought story. For example, if you feel afraid, if there's a trigger based on some old trauma, for example, you might feel the physical response in the body of feeling afraid. And then thoughts might come in with some kind of fearful story, imagining what might be happening or what you might need to protect yourself against. And this is very normal and natural, and it doesn't mean that you are not okay. There might be something that you could examine a little bit, investigate a little bit, to be curious about, to explore a little bit more if there are beliefs that are circling without, based on a past story that has been unconscious. We can always look at those things, but it never means that I am not okay. Because who am I, right? There's no separate me here. When we really check it out, when we really question, who am I? When I don't refer to my thoughts, there's no one here, really. And yet, paradoxically, the human experience goes on as if there is someone here. And this is the paradox of being human and at the same time simultaneously being the absolute. The absolute that we truly are, our true identity, that is always okay, more than okay. It can never not be okay. It is always untouched by whatever is here. It is always okay, no matter what is happening in your experience. And this is really the paradox of being okay with being not okay. So when there are these challenging times, emotionally, physically, mentally, energetically, in any way, and the experience is uncomfortable, there is still the okayness that is beyond all of that. That is who you are, no matter what. And this is known not in your thinking, not in your emotions, and not in the physical experience. It is known beyond all of that. And it is that knows the human experience just the way it is. And this absolute, this is who you really are. This is your true identity. So okay that it has no problem with any aspect of the human experience. So even if you are spinning in a thought story with lots of dramatic emotions, believing in a separate me, still there is an okayness that is beyond all of that. There is that sees it all and knows that I am not that separate me. I am aware of it always. I am seeing the game as if I am this human, or as if I'm even this apparent separate me. We play this game with ourselves sometimes, believing the thought stories about a me. But all the time, there is the knowing of it all. And so when we feel not okay in our human experience, this is so accepted. And it's such, you have such freedom to feel not okay because who you are is always okay. This is why the human, on the human level, on the physical, emotional, mental level, you're so free and so welcome to feel not okay. Because this not okayness never touches who you really are, the okayness that you always are. And this is unconditional love, actually, that unconditionally accepts, sees, knows, loves, embraces whatever is here just the way it is. So the human can be an utter mess. What freedom that is for this human to be emotional, to be triggered, to have physical problems, to have thought stories, to be imperfect, to be unspiritual, to just be human, knowing that who you are is always okay, is always absolute spirituality. So you never need to try to be that or those qualities of unconditional love or peace or freedom, because that is your nature already. More than okay. Absolute okayness. Always. And so if you don't need to try to be okay, then perhaps you can start to resonate and align yourself naturally with the okayness that you always are. When you see that you are not this separate me, then you are the absolute. When you don't believe in those thoughts that say, I'm this small me, then you are identifying with your absolute nature that sees this human and loves this human just the way she is. Hmm. So I'd love to hear from you. Um, if you have any questions or if you'd like me to speak more about something in particular, if you'd like to have a dialogue, you can just raise your hand, those of you on the Zoom. If you're watching on YouTube, I can't respond to questions there, but you're welcome to join on the Zoom next time. Yeah, and also if you're on the Zoom and you don't feel like actually having a dialogue, you can type a question in the chat as well. So there's lots of options. So I see a question in the chat by Atik Aziz. Can you speak more on dealing with uncomfortable feelings? Well, the word that is like a red flag for me in your question is dealing with. Because somehow that still implies that uncomfortable feelings are a problem. And I know they're uncomfortable, so it feels like a problem. But that's just one part of it, that when we believe that uncomfortable feelings are a problem, this adds an extra layer of tension around the discomfort that just makes it even more uncomfortable. So if we can first of all see, well, this uncomfortable feeling doesn't mean anything about me. It's not a problem, because who could it be a problem for? Right? There's no one here. So then we're left with just feeling the feeling itself. And yes, it's doing whatever it's doing, and it's in the body. It's like, it's uncomfortable. And perhaps we've done whatever we can do to soothe the body. And there are many techniques out there. I won't go into soothing techniques. I mean, there's things like, just noticing the breath, or, just bringing our attention to the sensations, staying with the sensations. But there are many other things out there. But really, it is about seeing that there is no escape from what is here when it's here. And when we know that it doesn't mean anything about who we are, there's an acceptance of it naturally. So there's no dealing with it. It's more of a surrender to it, seeing that this is the nature of this body, this human experience, that sometimes it is uncomfortable. And we ride the wave of the discomfort as long as it's here. And naturally it changes. Maybe it gets worse. Maybe it gets better. Maybe it comes and it goes. Maybe there's some uncomfortable feelings that are there a lot of the time for some people. And it can be very frustrating and cause emotions as well when we're living with chronic discomfort. And we try whatever we try to find a solution for the discomfort, but sometimes there just isn't a solution. And meeting the discomfort just as it is, often, not always, but it can be the solution. Because when we are trying to fix uncomfortable feelings endlessly, we are actually pushing away these uncomfortable feelings and saying they mean that my experience is not okay. We're saying those uncomfortable feelings belong in that not okay box. But what if they don't belong in that not okay box? Maybe they're just what's here, and they don't mean anything. There's a relaxation with that, with just meeting them just as they are. It's not like a magic wand that makes them necessarily all just go away, but just meeting what is here is already more of a relaxation. And it's not about giving up or a kind of being apathetic. It's a thin line between taking some action where necessary. Sometimes we need to take action to help the body through some discomfort, but sometimes it's just about a surrender to what is here. and meeting the rawness of what is here presently. Okay.
Unmani, this is Ava.
Hi, Eva.
Hello. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
And you. Um, I'd like to piggyback on what you just said. Maybe you could speak more specifically to survival, that really intense physical survival instinct slash trauma response. It shows up as a real state of emergency, right? It's like the house is on fire and it's so
Mm.
difficult to surrender into that. It's so difficult to just, to me, it feels like the house is on fire and I'm going to be eaten alive, right? So to relax into that and just let it have me, that's so challenging. And everything's spinning, right? Like Um, so that is discomfort on steroids. Could you
Yeah.
speak to it?
Does it happen a lot for you?
No, but sometimes it does, especially around money, income, how do I support myself? That kind of gets activated. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it really surprises me. I'm in some situation and I start buzzing, and then that buzzing gets louder, right? And so it's familiar and it's still difficult and challenging. Could you speak
Yeah,
to that?
sure. Yeah, I would say that there's two things to say about it, and in a way they're kind of contradictory, but also not. Um, so, as you said, like the alarm bells are going and the whole body's reacting. Um, when you said to try to surrender to that, what if you don't try to surrender? Because the surrender that I'm talking about actually is already who you are. It's your nature. Your nature, who you are as the absolute that you are, already accepts everything about the human experience, even if your thoughts don't. Right? So the thoughts might say, I don't like this, I don't want this, I wish this would go away, I hate this, it's uncomfortable, or whatever. But from the absolute, there is already surrender. So it's not about trying to surrender to that experience. It's seeing that when it's happening, there's no escape from it. It's like, okay, here we go. It's a, rough ride now. And there's nothing to do, I mean, you can, of course, like I said, you can do sort of soothing, calming things for the body as much as you can, but essentially, you just have to ride the wave of it. There's nowhere to go, right? Because who you are accepts it and loves it, even though it's completely messy in that moment. Okay, so that's the one thing. And now to say the other thing. So you mentioned that, that it's triggered by certain issues like money or, survival issues. Um, when you're not triggered in that state, at other times when you're feeling a little bit more calm, or have a little bit more distance to these issues, those are the times when you can also explore some of those issues um, in a more, let's say, when you can have a little bit more distance and see that, okay, it's not life or death really, because in that, when you're triggered, it's like life or death. But at other times, you can say, okay, it's not life or death. What am I really afraid of? And who is afraid here? What am I afraid to lose? You know, to kind of unravel some of those things, those beliefs that have been playing perhaps most of your life or have been even passed down from generation to generation. Some of those beliefs that we need to panic like that about certain things. And we often will hold on to some of those beliefs or identities like the one that is worrying about money, for example, we'll hold on to it because it's what we know makes us feel safe, even though in a weird way it's all about feeling unsafe, but at least we know who we are in that moment. And so it's always something to question and explore when we are feeling a little bit more calm. Maybe even do some writing. Like sometimes I like to recommend that people actually write from that character that is worried about money, for example. What are you worried about? Like, even if it's totally illogical, irrational, but just write out all those fears to get really conscious about those kinds of things. And I feel that slowly, slowly, and it can take its own time, and there's no need to clean up any of it because from who you are, it doesn't mean anything, right? So that's the paradox. Like it's absolutely welcome to be here forever, and we can explore it and we can shed more and more light on these things over time. And in my personal experience and in working with people, I see over time, these things do unravel more and more, and there's less of this kind of triggering that can happen because we've seen more in our calm times that that identity that we've believed in is not so needed, you know. Yeah, so it's kind of both. We work on both levels in a way. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Sashko.
Hi, Unmani.
Hi.
Um, my theme the last weeks is it's about creativity
Mhm.
and the question how to step out of
Out of
the line,
the line.
the yeah, not to be in the way. If the creativity comes from the big builder, the God or whatever you call him or it or
Okay. Yeah.
and artists, I think, have a special me, a special I. They want to be the creator and to step out of that and to let it go, to let it flow. I think it's a big theme for me. And then I feel that it's not okay if it's not working very well sometimes. Then if I want to have if I have a project and it should flow now, it should create for itself, or
Mm.
the voices who say how to do, or and it's difficult that the me then has to say that I have to go away and uh, maybe best thing die so that it can work for itself.
So you have an idea that if your creativity is not flowing as you think it should or as you'd like it to be, that you are not okay.
Yeah, I know how it is when it works. One time I saw that the film makes itself, and I could watch it, being in that process, and say, "Wow!"
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is
But then
many years ago.
but that's not up to you, right? I mean, it happened by itself. And so when it doesn't happen in that way, then the mind gets more involved, right? This is a problem. This means that I'm in the way, or I should.
It's not only up to me, but for a small piece, it's that I'm in the way, so that it's also up to me to walk out.
Yeah. In
And
other words,
that's
you're
that.
doing something wrong, and then it's feeding more thoughts, right?
That's a yeah.
Mm. Which doesn't help the whole situation
Yes,
at
that's
all.
true. Yeah. But
Yeah.
can you say something about creativity? What is your that there's
Yeah.
this big thing in the nature in the world for the artist that it's all built without ending?
Look, I feel that we are all artists. I mean, some people have more focus on artistic um, things in their lives, but I feel like we are all creators. We are all creating and artists all the time. It's just what we believe is art and what we believe about ourselves as artists. This can get in the way. It can build up a certain identity that I'm someone who creates. And if I'm someone who creates, then what I create means something about my identity. It better be good, right? Because that means that I'm good. And if it's not good, then that means that I'm not good. So we put a lot of pressure on ourselves when we call ourselves artists or call ourselves anything, in fact. Yeah. And of course, I can relate to those moments, as you say, when things just seem to create it themselves. I know that the books that I've written, they've basically written themselves. And it's always a surprise what ends up being written. But I know that we can always have these creative blocks where it seems that the energy isn't flowing, right? Where maybe the mind's getting in the way a bit much, or maybe it's just not the right time, and that's just how it is. You know? Yeah, sometimes we need to kind of accept and give ourselves the space for things to not flow, right? To just be a bit messy and not creative for a while. That doesn't mean anything. It's just, okay, bleh, I'm like this, it's not working. Okay, let's do something completely different. Change of scenery, take a walk, move the body, do something, just forget it, right? And forget who you are, what you're doing, what it all means, you know. And you never know, like something fresh can come out of that. Yeah. And saying that, I don't know if you've read the book, The Artist's Way. I really recommend it. It's I think, quite an old book. It's about exactly this theme of getting the juices flowing for creation.
I bought a book last week. I think it has this name.
Okay, well, perfect. Yeah, I recommend it. Yeah. One thing that touched me in that book that I still use and I still recommend to people is the morning pages, which is basically every morning or whenever it suits you, but regularly to write free flow, just to write whatever is in your head in that moment, even if it is, I'm sitting here writing this, it doesn't have to be anything like special, but just to flow and I find it not just for artists, but for everybody, just to kind of have a mind dump regularly. And all kinds of creative things can come out of that when we clear the space. We just say, okay, this is all blah, 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 gibberish, just flowing through. And it doesn't mean anything about me, doesn't mean anything about my life. It's just, life expressing itself. We could even sing a song, whatever it is, whatever life wants to do in that moment. Yeah, and it's like shaking it all up and letting go of the identity with that. Yeah, and who knows what comes out. Okay.
One thing, I think it's not about the ego of the artist. I feel that it's really a deep longing in me for that, and that I can't also do anything against it. It's here.
Longing for that flow, you mean?
Longing for that, watching how creation works, how it only be not to do this project, but to feel how it is when projects build.
Yeah.
So it's more that.
And I hear you that there is that longing, and it's because it's beautiful, isn't it? To see that it's not up to me, right? It's so refreshing, and yeah, it's just like watching a beautiful scenery or listening to a beautiful song. It's just kind of flowing, and yeah, it's a wonderful experience. And of course, the whole of life is happening like that, not just those experiences that you consider flowing, right? So even when there are experiences that feel uncomfortable and not flowing, and even when you feel like, you're getting in the way and all that, this is the flow of life. It's just a bit bumpy in those times. Even those times, there is no separate me. It's just all happening by itself. Okay, thank you. Someone else had their hand up a minute ago. I don't know. The hand's disappeared. Tatsiana.
Hi, Unmani.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Hmm.
I wanted a little bit maybe to share and what you have to say about that. What I had discovered about this, can I be okay with not being okay? I had discovered that no, I cannot. It's like I heard that I have to, but it kind of twisted inside me like actually if I'm doing the practice, if I'm going this way, if I'm doing the spiritual things, everything has to be exactly okay. And and only good and so on. So of course, and but I also have to say that the more real I was, the more I was not this I, like the ego or the fake me. The more real I was, the more the self I was, the less some strange things happened. And the thing what happened, it actually didn't touch me. It couldn't touch me. It kind of was passing away. I was just watching a movie and not being involved into it. But then something happened, and I kind of let's say I found myself not being in this state of my being anymore. And there, oh my God, it came all this shit, all this and anger and peace and pain and hate and whatever. And so I had discovered that it's actually not that much what happens, it's more where am I or who am I.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's all about the identification, really. It's like where are you? Yeah. I mean, when you are identifying with this separate me, and you're believing that all this stuff actually means something about me, it is felt more intensely in one way because there's this extra layer of drama, like that kind of heightens the tension around the original experience. But in another way, in seeing that it's not happening or about me, the separate me, then there is less of this extra layer of drama and tension. But on the other hand, it's felt more rawly. I don't know is that a real word, rawly? Anyway, more raw. And because the story of me acts as like a protection, right, against feeling the intensity and the rawness of the sensation, the experience. So in a way, you feel it more without the story of me, but in a more raw state. And so it's just simple. This is what's happening. It's uncomfortable, but this is the present experience. So there's a kind of an okayness with that because it's not happening to me, but it's still, there's no protection from it. So it's felt intensely, but without the story. So, yeah, I don't know if that says a little bit of something to what you were saying.
Yes, it's kind of if there is no me, then nobody to be hurted, nobody to be suffered. There is no one who can deal with this, who can kind of
Yes, you're watching the show.
yeah, yes, yes. But what I was surprised that I was told that if once I am in this state, I am this kind of forever, so I will never ever lose it anymore.
Okay. All right. Yeah. But this is a misconception for sure, because many people that I've encountered over the years of teaching this, that they have beautiful experiences of awakening or recognition of who they really are. And with those experiences, there's a kind of popping out of the small me story They pop out, and suddenly the experiences of this vastness or a kind of distance to the human discomfort. And this is beautiful, blissful, wonderful. And it lasts for some people a short time, for other people longer. But eventually it changes, as must every experience in life. Everything comes and goes and changes. So what comes must go. This is just, like putting up an umbrella. If you can, you put the umbrella up, eventually you're going to have to put it down again. That's just the nature of life. And the idea that an experience should be permanent, this is just a misconception. No experience is permanent, no matter what. But your true nature is always permanent. So the experience of recognition or awakening, the experience of that, that accompanies the recognition, the experience can change. But what you have recognized, that doesn't change. So the experience can go back to, or change again to being a kind of small me, it seems. But you have recognized that you are that, right? You are the unlimited absolute nature. And the confusion for many people that have those kind of experiences when it kind of contracts again is that they think they've lost it. Right? They think that they've done something wrong that that it's gone for me, right? They're still believing in a separate me, believing I had it and now I've lost it. But the truth is that the experience just changes, and who you are didn't have anything and didn't lose anything. It's just that, always aware of whatever is here. It's just that experience seems to come for many people when we recognize our true nature. It's like a byproduct, right? But it fades eventually. And when it does, that's the point to really see what can't be lost. And that's the truth of who you are, not the experience. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I still have something to say. That the thing is that when uh, uh, I don't know how to express it in correct, because it's not really when I feel that. No, when I am that, then uh, it's it's kind of different state of my being or level of consciousness, if it's I can say something like that. But if I we- I am still that, but when I don't feel that, it's kind of covered or something in between or something. It actually makes it quite um, it's tough for me. I understand that it's not only for me, and I am not the only one.
No, for sure. And I think this question actually is very relevant for many people here and many people watching, because many, like I said, many people do have these kinds of experiences, and it's true that when you've had that kind of more expansive experience, and then it changes, it can feel really like you prefer to be back there, and that there's something wrong, there's something missing, and it's very uncomfortable in comparison. I can understand that, but still, what is what is. Right? And if this is what is, this is what is. There's no escape. You can't get back there. Back there actually never happened right now. Right now, all there is this. And if it's uncomfortable, or if there's not that distance that you liked, you enjoyed from before, so be it. And actually, this right now, whatever this experience right now is, even if it's uncomfortable or whatever, this is always an invitation to know yourself like this now. So, although you're trying to get back to this other experience, when your mind is comparing, yeah, but I had more distance, and it's all of that trying to get there is kind of disturbing the meeting yourself just as you are. I mean, you are meeting yourself in those thoughts even, but still you're believing in those thoughts. And the believing in those thoughts seem to be taking you off into this comparing story and trying to grasp something from the past. Whereas actually you could just see the thoughts for what they are. They're happening presently. They're not a problem, just the very fact that they're happening, they're here. And this experience is what's here. And this is the invitation to meet yourself. The mind will always say, right? The mind will always say, yes, but that was better. I should be, there's something missing. And the mind will come with a million very tempting excuses and reasons and stories. Keep seeing that that's just a thought, and the thought's welcome to keep telling its stories, but this is what's here right now.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So if there's perhaps a last question or comment before we end. Or not. Well, perhaps I'll just take this opportunity to say that the next theme for next time on the 18th of January will be how to navigate between chaos and order. Yeah, so that'll be an interesting one as well. Yeah, and we've decided to extend the early bird discount time limit for the retreat in April in Portugal to the end of January. So if you would like to jump in and come and meet in person, because online, okay, it's great, it's better than nothing, but in person in Portugal would be wonderful to actually feel each other's energy and to look into each other's eyes rather than this kind of camera on the screen. Yeah, so I'm holding a 5-day retreat in April in Portugal, the south of Portugal. And yeah, the early bird discount is until the end of January now. And there's another retreat in Holland, the Netherlands, in August as well. Yeah. So I'll stop there if there's no more comments or questions, and say Happy New Year to you all, and send lots of love, and thank you all for your presence here, and yeah, also for your donations if you've made them, and it's been lovely to spend this time with you. Thank you very much. Lots of love to you all. Bye.